Greetings, my dear viewer. You're on the channel The Price of Cheating. The channel is for those who appreciate traditional family values and condemn adultery. So be sure to subscribe to the channel. Let's get started. Victoria and I had been married for 8 years. Years that were steady, filled with comfort, and marked by a rhythm we'd both come to rely on. We had 2 children, and while we dealt with the usual ups and downs that come with marriage and parenthood, I had always felt secure in our relationship. Then last Saturday changed things. Victoria's friend Madison had invited us to a party. I didn't know Madison very well, but Victoria seemed genuinely eager to go. "It'll be fun," she'd said with enthusiasm, reminding me that since the kids were staying with my mom for the weekend, there was really no reason not to go. "Come on," she urged, her eyes bright. "It'll be nice to step out of our usual routine for once. Everyone's going to be there." I agreed, thinking that a bit of variety might actually do us some good. Looking back, though, I wish I'd had a better idea of what different would really mean. The party was packed, with laughter filling the air, music pulsing, and drinks clinking. Initially, everything seemed like a regular gathering, but as the evening went on, I started noticing subtle things: glances that lingered, hands that touched a beat too long, and a man I didn't know smiling at Victoria in a way that felt overly familiar. She returned his smile, and something deep in my gut tightened. "Hey, Grayson," Victoria teased, nudging me playfully. "You look so serious. Here, have a drink." She handed me a cocktail, and I took a sip, finding it stronger than I expected. Determined to shake off my unease, I tried to relax, brushing off the strange tension in the air. Then came the announcement. Madison's husband, Joe, gathered everyone into the living room, holding a big glass bowl. "All right, everyone," he called out with a grin. "Time for the raffle." The crowd cheered, and Victoria's face lit up with excitement. Puzzled, I leaned over and whispered, "What's this raffle all about?" But before she could answer, Joe spoke again. "Ladies, drop your keys in the bowl. Guys, you'll pick a set of keys at random, and you'll spend the night with whoever owns them. No strings attached." As the words sank in, the energy in the room shifted. People murmured in anticipation, and suddenly I realized what this really was: a swingers party. Stunned, I turned to Victoria. I had never been so blindsided. I grabbed her arm and led her quickly into the kitchen. "Did you know about this?" I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. She looked back at me without the slightest hint of remorse, her lips barely curving into a faint smile. "Yes," she admitted, her tone calm. I felt my heart drop. "And you didn't think to tell me?" She shrugged slightly. "I knew you'd react like this, that you wouldn't be open to it, so I didn't mention it. It's just one night, Grayson, a night of fun. People do this all the time. They say it's healthy for relationships." I felt like the ground was disappearing beneath my feet. "Victoria, I thought we were coming to a normal party, not whatever this is." She sighed, rolling her eyes a little. "It's just one night. We're already here, so why not give it a try? You're making a bigger deal out of it than necessary." She went on, "Both of us get to have a new experience, just for tonight. It doesn't mean anything." Doesn't mean anything? I almost laughed at how surreal it sounded. You honestly believe that sleeping with other people doesn't mean anything? Since when has that ever been an option in our marriage? Get your purse. We're leaving. Her expression hardened, and she crossed her arms. "Grayson, listen. I'm tired of everything feeling the same. Sometimes I feel invisible, like I'm only a mom and a wife. I need this. I need to feel noticed, to feel wanted." "Is that truly what you're looking for? Another man to make you feel seen, desired?" I asked, struggling to steady my voice. "What about me? Isn't that supposed to be my place?" Her gaze drifted to the floor, her response soft but unwavering. "It's just for tonight. I'm not searching for love. This isn't about feelings," she said. Her words landed hard, and I took a step back, absorbing their weight. "And you expect me to simply go along with this? She looked back at me, her expression unflinching. You don't get it, Grayson. This has nothing to do with love. It's just one night, something to revive us, to bring some novelty to our marriage. Disbelief and fury surged within me. We're leaving now, I said, anger seeping into my tone. I took hold of her arm, guiding her firmly toward the living room. Around us, others waited eagerly by the bowl, ready to draw keys and change partners for the evening, their eyes gleaming with anticipation. Victoria tried to pull away, but I kept my hold steady. Turning to face the room, I raised my voice, my frustration clear. No one mentioned what kind of party this was, I declared, my gaze sweeping over the group. I'm not sharing my wife with anyone. Not tonight, not ever. This is absurd. I reached into the bowl, grabbing a key with a red keychain, holding it up as if to make a final statement. This marriage is sacred. I won't tolerate this, not for an instant. A few people murmured, but I ignored them entirely. Victoria's face flushed, a mix of anger and embarrassment playing across her features. I turned to her, issuing an ultimatum. You decide, Victoria. Leave with me now and put all this behind, or stay here and don't expect me to wait around. I'm leaving. The room went silent, every eye fixed on her as she took a slow, tense breath. At last, she spoke, her voice taut with irritation. I apologize for my husband's reaction, she said to the group, her gaze lingering on them. I'd like to stay, but I suppose it's best if I go. Reluctantly, she followed me out to the car. As soon as we were inside, she turned to me with barely contained fury. You're unbelievable! Do you even realize how humiliating that was? We'll never be invited to anything like that again. Humiliate you? I retorted, struggling to keep my voice steady. What about how you humiliated me? Not even telling me that you intended to spend tonight with another man. You could have chosen a woman instead, and we both could have found something to enjoy. I don't want another woman, Grayson. I've been faithful to you. After 8 years together, you're asking for this? Disgust boiled within me, and I had to fight to keep my voice calm. It was a single night, Grayson. Just one time, after all we've shared. Is it really too much to ask? Yes, it is too much, I replied, my grip tightening on the steering wheel. This isn't some trivial thing, Victoria. This matters. I pulled the car over sharply, breathing hard. But if this really means that much to you, then fine. Without another word, I made a sharp U-turn, heading back toward Madison's house. She gasped as the car swerved. What are you doing, Grayson? If being with another man is what you need, then go. I pressed harder on the accelerator, the tires screeching as we sped down the road. There's still time for your little thrill. Her face went pale. What are you saying? I'm saying, if this is what you need, then go. Find someone who can give you what I apparently can't. It's just an adventure, Grayson. Something different. You're everything I need, but I want this. Then I don't want any part of it, I replied, my voice icy with finality. I had been unwaveringly loyal to her, and nothing had ever made me question that, until now. But if you go through with this, we're done, I warned her. Victoria's hand hovered over the door handle, her gaze clouded with doubt. Will you still pick me up tomorrow morning? She asked, her voice tinged with hope. I met her eyes, unfazed. I'm sure whoever you're with tonight will be happy to drop you off, I replied. A flicker of resentment crossed her face. You make it sound so seedy, Grayson. This isn't like that, she murmured, though her voice wavered. It's exactly like that, Victoria. You're about to spend the night with someone else. She turned away, exhaling slowly. It's just one night. It doesn't mean anything, she said, almost dismissively. One night is already too much, I replied, my tone unyielding. If you go through with this, it's over. She looked at me like I was being melodramatic. You're blowing this out of proportion, Grayson. By tomorrow I'll be back with you, and none of this will matter. No, Victoria. If you walk through that door, I won't want you back, I told her. She gave a careless shrug, as if she didn't believe me. "You're being ridiculous, Grayson. We're married. We'll figure this out." I shook my head, my voice as frigid as my resolve. "If you go in, we're finished." She hesitated for a brief moment, her hand still gripping the handle, before she opened the door with a defiant smile. "See you in the morning, Grayson," she said. "No, you won't," I whispered as I drove away, leaving her standing alone in the driveway, watching me go. I wanted her to call, to realize her mistake, to plead for me to come back. But the phone remained silent. As I drove, a wave of anger and betrayal surged through me. She'd chosen to throw away everything we had for a night with a stranger. By the time I got home, I was too furious to think straight. I grabbed a bag and started shoving clothes into it, not even caring what I packed. That's when my phone buzzed. It was her. Reluctantly, I picked up. "Hey," she greeted me casually, as if nothing was wrong. "Just checking in. I ended up with someone. I think his name's Sebastian," she added, her tone indifferent. "We're heading upstairs." Her words hit me like a punch. "Are you actually calling to tell me this, Victoria?" I demanded. She sighed, as though I were the one being unreasonable. "Calm down, Grayson. By tomorrow, everything will be back to normal. Trust me, this will bring us closer." Fury surged through me, and I tossed the phone onto the table. She didn't seem to grasp how deeply she'd wounded me. Then I noticed the call was still active. Suddenly, I heard her voice, low and intimate, as she whispered, "Oh my God, that feels amazing." Her voice rose. "Harder, please." Rage burned through me, and I nearly smashed the phone. Instead, I hit record, realizing I'd need proof of this night. The night she chose to break us. She had no idea I was listening, and I doubted she'd care if she knew. I stormed into our bedroom, yanking clothes and essentials from the closet and throwing them into my suitcase. When I'd loaded everything into the car, I went back inside one last time. I stopped in front of our wedding photo, staring at the happiness in our smiles. I tore the photo out of the frame and tossed it aside, then picked up our marriage certificate and ripped it in two, letting the pieces fall to the floor. I couldn't bear to keep anything that reminded me of what I thought we had, of the lie I'd been holding on to for too long. With my belongings gathered and my heart in pieces, I walked out of the home we'd shared. I drove directly to a hotel, craving solitude, somewhere far from the life I knew, where I could clear my head and regroup. I realized I needed to plan my next steps, though a part of me already knew that forgiving her was out of the question. That night, I lay awake, haunted by restless thoughts. When I couldn't take it anymore, I called my friend Josh. He agreed to meet me at a nearby bar. As I recounted everything, Josh listened closely, his expression grave, a steady hand on my shoulder. "Look, you don't have to take this lying down," he said firmly. "I have a cousin who's a lawyer, and he can help. We'll make sure your assets are safe. You'll only be on the hook for child support, not half of everything you've worked for." The weight of it all hit me hard. "But what about the kids?" I asked, fear and sadness woven into my voice. Josh let out a long breath, thinking it through. "It's tough, but maybe the evidence you have could tip things in your favor in court." We went over everything, planning it out carefully before I returned to the hotel, still tangled in my thoughts. The next morning, Victoria called. After a pause, I knew I couldn't keep avoiding her, so I picked up. "What is it, Victoria?" I asked, my voice as cold as I could make it. She sighed, her voice trembling. "What do you think I want, Grayson?" "I want you to come back home," she pleaded. I took a steadying breath, my tone remaining distant. "After what you did, that's not happening," I replied flatly. "Don't say that, Grayson. Please don't. It was only one night, all right? 4 times, and once today. I needed it, and you don't understand." Her words were raw, almost frantic. "Victoria, what you've done can't just be undone. This wasn't a small error. You crossed a line, I said, barely keeping my voice steady. But I love you, Grayson, she whispered. It wasn't about you. It was something I needed, she tried to explain. That's exactly the problem, Victoria, I replied bitterly. You only thought about yourself, not about me or our kids. I braced myself, knowing the gravity of what I was about to say. I've filed for divorce. You'll hear from my lawyer next week. She began sobbing, telling me she'd never meant to hurt me, insisting she didn't care about Sebastian, that she only wanted to feel desired. She claimed it was supposed to bring us closer, to somehow save us. It's too far gone to be saved, I replied, my voice carrying the finality of the decision. You made your choice, Victoria. The divorce became official after a grueling 6 months. In the end, the court granted her custody of the kids and awarded her the house, while I was left with weekend visits to watch my children's lives from the sidelines. It took me a long time to process it all, to feel the emptiness of missing my kids while knowing I could never reclaim our old life. Eventually, I threw myself into work, building a new life from scratch. Slowly, I started to heal. My weekends with the kids turned sacred, and I poured my whole heart into every visit, cherishing each moment. Over time, I realized that though I'd lost so much, I hadn't lost everything. I still had love, family, and the strength to start over. In that realization, I found a new sense of peace. This concludes the story. If you like it, then put your powerful like and subscribe to the channel.